the main event. Welcome your master of ceremonies, Monica Parley and Lisa Raitt. Accueillons Monica Parley et Lisa Raitt.
Bonsoir tout le monde. J'espère que vous avez eu une journée productive à discuter de questions constitutionnelles, d'idées politiques importantes et de tactiques de campagne pour les prochaines élections. If this was a liberal convention, there's no way they'd be able to fill an entire day with policy discussions and debates.
Now, before we start the formal, was that not an incredible entrance tonight? Yes? It was pretty awesome. Like Monica was saying, I was at the Liberal Policy Convention, and I can tell you that I find that they spend more time on policy at SEAL training school than they do in the Liberal Party of Canada. Not that I'm complaining, because the less policy that Justin Trudeau introduces, the better it is for the country.
Of course, the best thing for this country would be to make Andrew Scheer the next Prime Minister of Canada. Woo!
That's right. We got lots of time. Todd Doherty, I love your enthusiasm, but we got lots of time tonight. We're good. Now, before we get going on tonight's program, we have a quick plug for tomorrow afternoon. There's going to be a fireside chat with Andrew and Jill Scheer that you certainly will not want to miss. And okay, on with the show.
Une des meilleures histoires dans les nouvelles politiques cette année, c'est la croissance du Parti conservateur qui se poursuit dans la province du Québec. Merci à notre excellente équipe de députés du Québec et aux nombreux bénévoles, l'avenir paraît de plus en plus prometteur.
You'll be hearing about some of that success in a few minutes, including remarks from my newest colleague, the Member of Parliament for Chicoutimi-Le-Fjord, Richard Martel. And after that, it's the main event, a keynote speech from the leader of Her Majesty's loyal opposition, Andrew Scheer. But before we get started, a former Premier of Saskatchewan, and I don't mean Roy Romano, sends along some remarks that I'd like to share.
Hi. From the beautiful Cypress Hills in southwest Saskatchewan, greetings. I understand there's going to be 3,000 of you gathered together in Halifax at the CPC convention. I would ask this favor, if I could. I would ask that you would keep in focus, keep in mind as you network and as you go through the deliberations of your convention, keep in mind that this country desperately needs national leadership that has as its primary focus the economy. We need national leadership that has a serious approach to global trade issues. We need national leadership that has a plan to make sure our economy is competitive, that we can stop the loss of investment that we've seen not just from Western Canada but from other parts of the country as a result of current policies. We're going to need national leadership that understands that all the virtue signaling in the world, that all the sloganeering is never a replacement for policies that help sustain social programs through a strong economy, that help ensure through a strong economy that we've got a great quality of life. My friend Andrew Scheer understands that. This will be his priority. This will be his very top consideration, and he's leading a team that's going to be ready to go from day one. And in Andrew, we not only have a leader with that perspective, with that understanding of the primacy and the importance of focusing on Canada's economy, we also have someone who is hardworking, who is honest. I've known him for a long time. We have someone in Andrew who is humble, who very much reflects the great values of our country, of Canadian families, back to them. If only we could get him to smile. Goodbye from Cypress Hills.
Does anybody else see the fact that in post-retirement, Saskatchewan politicians seem to be turning into one another? Brad Wall looks an awful lot like a young Jerry Ritz tonight, doesn't he?
Maintenant, pour donner le coup d'envoi de ce soir, veuillez s'il vous plaît accueillir le député de Richmond-Athabasca et le lieutenant politique du Parti au Québec, Alain Reyes. Conservative friends, please welcome our Quebec political lieutenant, MP Alain Reyes.
Merci. Thank you. Bonjour à tous et à toutes, dear conservative friends. C'est avec un immense plaisir que je m'adresse à vous, membres de partout au Canada, dans la magnifique ville d'Halifax. This weekend, we are sending a positive and strong message to every Canadian all around the country. Cette fin de semaine, nous montrons à tous notre incroyable mobilisation dans un seul et unique but, renverser Justin Trudeau en 2019. Nous le ferons dans l'intérêt de notre beau et grand pays et dans l'intérêt de tous les Canadiens et Canadiennes. Ce week-end, nous franchissons une autre étape importante. Mes amis, je suis convaincu que nous nous dirigeons dans la bonne direction grâce à vous tous, membres du Parti conservateur, députés, sénateurs et grâce au leadership fort et rassembleur de notre chef, Andrew Scheer. My friends, I truly believe that we are moving in the right direction thanks to all of you, members of Conservative Party, members of Parliament, senators, and thanks to the strong leadership of Andrew Scheer. Je suis fier de me présenter devant vous aujourd'hui pour parler des progrès importants que nous avons faits au Québec au cours des derniers mois. I'm proud to be here to talk about the important progress we have made in Quebec in recent months. Nous avons tenu le tout premier congrès du caucus du Québec en mai. 400 persons attend our first ever regional meeting in Saint-Hyacinthe. This just is even more than Alberta. Plusieurs personnalités influentes y ont pris part. Nous avons obtenu l'appui de l'ancien chef du Bloc québécois, Michel Gauthier, qui a joint les rangs de notre formation politique avec éclat. À Saint-Hyacinthe, nous avons montré à tous que le Parti conservateur du Canada, c'est du sérieux au Québec. In Saint-Hyacinthe, we showed everyone that the Conservative Party of Canada is very serious in Quebec. Notre tournée de consultation à l'écoute des Québécois est aussi un grand succès. Les députés du Québec, toute l'équipe, ont sillonné la province pour aller à la rencontre des gens de tous les milieux. Notre constat ne fait aucun doute. La lune de miel des Québécois avec Justin Trudeau est terminée et une grande majorité de Québécois adhèrent aux propositions du Parti conservateur. Et que dire de notre grande victoire dans l'élection partielle de Chicoutimi-Le-Fjord qui fut un immense succès. We came back from afar in Chicoutimi-Le-Fjord, from a fourth place and 60% of votes in 2015. We won last June with a strong majority of 53%. Nous avons pris cette circonscription des mains des libéraux. Après 18 ans, le Parti conservateur du Canada a repris Chicoutimi-Le-Fjord. Après cette grande victoire, nous avons reçu des centaines de messages de votre part partout au Canada. Militants de partout au pays, nous vous remercions sincèrement pour votre appui indispensable au Québec. C'est ensemble que nous renverserons Justin Trudeau et feront d'Andrew Scheer le prochain premier ministre du Canada, the next Prime Minister of Canada, Andrew Scheer. Now, I invite you to take a look at this video summarizing our great victory in Chicoutimi-Le-Fjord.
Le 20 décembre dernier, Richard Martel annonce sa candidature pour devenir le nouveau député de Chicoutimi-Le-Fjord. Il est connu, il est aimé. Nous avons le meilleur candidat pour remporter cette élection. On le sait, mais la partie n'est pas gagnée. Nous sommes arrivés 4e en 2015. Un défi comme Richard Martel les aime. Il bâtit son équipe, écoute les conseils, se prépare sérieusement. Pendant 6 mois, semaine après semaine, Richard prend des engagements, rencontre les électeurs et surtout les écoute. Quand la campagne est officiellement déclenchée, l'équipe conservatrice est prête. Avec un tel engagement de Richard, le parti met toute la gomme. Our leader Andrew Scheer came to give us a hand twice. Les gens découvrent un homme intègre et chaleureux qui défend leurs intérêts. Les députés du Québec répondent à l'appel, viennent faire du porte-à-porte et soutiennent les bénévoles. With support from conservatives all across the country and the will to add another strong conservative voice to our caucus, the momentum is building. Il n'y a pas de formule magique pour gagner une élection. Il faut retrousser ses manches, travailler ensemble et sans relâche. Et le résultat fracassant est là. From 4th to 1st with 53%, it's like we're in Alberta. Andrew Scheer, Richard Martel, les députés et les nombreux bénévoles ont travaillé sans relâche. Et c'est comme ça que nous gagnerons en 2019.
Mesdames et messieurs, je vous présente un homme qui a fait campagne pendant 6 longs mois sans relâche, un infatigable travailleur, un homme passionné, déterminé, celui qui a remporté l'élection de Chicoutimi-Le-Fjord. Ladies and gentlemen, the new MP for Chicoutimi-Le-Fjord, Richard Martel!
Bonjour Halifax, bonjour Halifax. This is a bit bigger than a hockey locker room. Wow, oh my gosh. Don't worry, I'm getting used to it. Je suis très content d'être ici ce soir. Je suis content d'être avec vous. I'm very proud and I'm very happy to be here today with you. My new conservative family. Depuis le mois de décembre, on travaille fort. On voulait absolument gagner. Il y a beaucoup de chemins. On a parcouru beaucoup de chemins. When I look back to when I decided to run last December, all odds were against us. It was a big challenge. We absolutely needed to win. And now, here we are. Thanks to a great campaign team, our friends from the West who provide their financial support, and the leadership of our leader, Andrew Scheer, who believed in us. But now, my friends, there's still a lot to do. We might have turned the tide, but we haven't won the war. Nous avons encore beaucoup à faire pour gagner en 2019. Nous avons qu'à regarder l'histoire politique canadienne pour se rendre compte qu'on doit retourner aux conservateurs de Richard Bedford Bennett, où on a vu un gouvernement majoritaire se faire défaire après un premier mandat. Mais avec l'équipe qu'on a présentement, je suis convaincu qu'on pourra réécrire l'histoire en 2019. There are plenty of indications that let me believe we are heading in the right direction. We are out fundraising the Liberals almost 2-1. More and more people are considering voting for our party. There is an unprecedented enthusiasm to become a conservative candidate for the next election, and every day, our leader, Andrew Scheer, makes gains in the heart of Canadians. Just a couple of words about our leader. First of all, he convinced me to run in a riding when we finished fourth last election. That takes leadership. Il est venu dans ma circonscription 2 fois. Et la deuxième fois, je peux vous dire que les gens le reconnaissaient. Et même de ça, il m'en parlait, il voulait lui parler. J'ai même pensé qu'il allait devenir plus populaire que moi dans mon comté. This recent win in Chicoutimi-Le-Fjord is not an anomaly. This is perhaps the beginning of a great breakthrough in Quebec. Le NPD a perdu la majorité de ses appuis. Comme on le dit, la vague donne, la vague reprend. Pour ce qui est du Bloc québécois, on est loin des années de Lucien Bouchard et de Gilles Duceppe. En plus du manque de leadership, ils ont perdu leur raison d'être et ils ont mis de l'avant leur intérêt avant ceux du Québec. Le seul parti nationaliste et décentralisateur crédible au Canada qui défend les intérêts des provinces et du Québec est sans contredit le Parti conservateur du Canada sous le leadership d'Andrew Scheer et d'Alain Rayos, lieutenant du Québec. Thank you. Our real opponents now in Quebec are the Liberals, a party that does not respect provincial powers, a party that listens more to downtown Toronto than the rest of the country. A party that claims to defend the middle class and isn't. A party that claims to protect businesses and isn't. A party that is plain facade and just empty. An empty shell, my friends. A shell in which the only thing you can hear from it are the mermaid songs. A shell that we have broken in Chicoutimi-Le-Fjord to show people the real face of the Liberal Party, emptiness. Conservatives can win in Quebec. Il y a des leçons à tirer de cette élection partielle. Nous n'avons pas uniquement gagné à cause de mon nom, mais on a gagné avec le travail d'équipe. On a fait la différence sur le terrain et j'ai gagné avec l'aide de mes collègues députés et des membres à travers le Canada. C'est pour ça qu'on a gagné. Puis ensuite de ça, on s'est concentré sur ce qui nous unit, le développement économique de nos régions, la saine gestion des finances publiques, la baisse des taxes et des impôts, la défense des victimes, le contrôle de nos frontières, les politiques familiales fortes et aussi à cause de notre chef Andrew Scheer, qui est aimé des Québécois et qui les comprend. With Andrew Scheer, a great caucus, and our outstanding members and volunteers, we can win coast to coast to coast. And believe me, my friends, I will do what I can to help the team win the next general election, not only in Chicoutimi, but wherever it needs me. This is what teamwork is. Trust me, I know about teamwork. Hockey is all about teamwork. We will win more in each single province only if we stick together, side by side, and use our respective strengths to defeat Justin Trudeau and the Liberals. En terminant, Chicoutimi-Le-Fjord, vous pouvez être fiers de vous. Grâce à vous, on a envoyé un message fort. On va travailler fort en équipe. We will work hard as a team with our leader, Andrew Scheer, to have a majority government in 2019 and build a stronger and safer Canada. Thank you very much.
Merci, Richard. Et de la part de tout le monde ici, nous sommes très fiers de t'avoir dans l'équipe conservatrice.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, before I introduce our next speaker, I do have a little bit of housekeeping. I'm here to tell you the good news and the not so great news. The good news is we actually have more speakers for tomorrow, and I think you'll find them very interesting. The not so great news is we're going to be starting tomorrow morning not at 9 a.m., but at 8:15 a.m. So okay, I'll take the pain, give it all to me, get it all out of your system, because all we want is happy, joyous vibes for Andrew Scheer, right? Okay. 8:15 tomorrow morning, we'll be starting here with the Maple Leaf Awards, so we'll see you then. Now, staying on the theme of hockey this evening, I noticed last month that Sidney Crosby was named the greatest Nova Scotian athlete of all time. And if there was a similar award for local politicians, our next speaker would almost certainly get it. He served in the House of Commons for more than 18 years, holding a variety of portfolios, including foreign affairs, national defense, justice, and attorney general.
Il a été le chef du Parti progressiste conservateur et cofondateur avec Stephen Harper du Parti conservateur du Canada.
I'm sure we've given you enough clues to guess, but if you still haven't figured it out, our next speaker is the dad to Cian, Valencia, and Caledon, and the former member of Parliament for Central Nova. Please welcome Peter MacKay.
Thank you, Monica and Lisa, our duo dynamique. Let's have a hand for our MCs who are doing such a great job here. Chers collègues, dear friends, Canadian Conservatives, what a time to be home in Halifax. What a wonderful place to host this convention. And you know, our province has a reputation for hospitality. I hope that everyone is having a chance to taste and feel and hear the wonders of this great province and this great region. So a very warm welcome to the city of Halifax and to the province of Nova Scotia. And tonight, yes, there are no strangers in the hall tonight, only friends we haven't met yet. And so consider this like a family reunion with 3,000 of your relatives. On second thought, just have fun tonight. Halifax, as we know, is a historic, energized, diverse, vibrant city, and just a wonderful place to be. And there truly is so much to see here. So grab a friend, grab a colleague, take a walk on the waterfront, go up to the Citadel, go to the public gardens. You know, the pubs, the restaurants, the shops will be thriving. And as we heard, everybody should be back in their room by at least 7 a.m. to be here on time for the plenaries. And you know, there's evidence throughout this city of the positive difference that the Conservative government made during our decade of delivering results for Canada. This convention centre itself, the new public library, money for universities, our designation of Pier 21 as Canada's Museum of Immigration, massive investments in the Halifax shipyard. And we, as a party, recognize this is home of Canada's East Coast Navy. This is our biggest military base. Let's give it up for all of the members of the Canadian Armed Forces here with us tonight and our veterans. To them, our veterans, our serving members, we say thank you. Merci à votre service. We have a lot to celebrate. We have a lot to celebrate as Conservatives. Fresh off the big win by Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford. With us last night, Buck a Beer is a very popular concept for Nova Scotia. He will join, of course, Brian Pallister, Premier Pallister of Manitoba, Premier Scott Moe in Saskatchewan, and soon-to-be Premiers Jason Kenney in Alberta, Blaine Higgs in New Brunswick, James Alward in PEI, Chess Crosby in Newfoundland and Labrador, we're going to elect a new Premier in Nova Scotia and the PC party here. Quebec and BC seem ready for change. The Conservative message of change is getting out there. It's being heard loud and clear across the country. And let's be clear, Come October 2019, the big blue wave starts right here in Atlantic Canada. And let's be clear as well, that's because Canadians can see themselves in our party. Rural and urban, all regions, all religions, all orientations, all backgrounds, like Canada itself, Conservatives are diverse, inclusive, disciplined, strong, and united. And tonight, and by the way, that little weather system that passed over here yesterday, it has gone. That hurricane has left the building, and we don't need another Trudeau karaoke around here anyway. Tonight, folks, I'm deeply honored to be introducing our Conservative leader and Canada's next Prime Minister, Andrew Scheer. Ce soir, Andrew Scheer, it's a guaranteed applause line. Ce soir, je suis très honoré d'introduire le chef du Parti conservateur, le prochain Premier ministre du Canada. I had the opportunity to work closely with Andrew, first when we were in opposition in 2004, and of course later when we formed government in 2006. What I immediately noticed about this man was his calm demeanor, his intelligent, thoughtful nature, his deep interest and understanding of the issues that matter most. His work ethic, his determination, his decency make him truly suited for leadership. And with Andrew as our leader, what you see is what you get, and you get a lot. As a principled, smart, serious, caring Conservative, it seems that the worst that they can say about him is he smiles too much. Andrew truly understands the struggles of the middle class, because that's where Andrew came from. That's where he and Jill and their family truly exemplify aspirations of those right across our great country. You know, Andrew carries a checkbook. He doesn't have a trust fund. And I'll tell you something. Lisa referenced it. Nazanin and I just welcomed our third child, Kaladin, to the family a few weeks ago. Thank you. And knowing that Andrew and Jill have 5 children, I mean, my respect just grows and grows. He once told me, I remember talking to him about this, and he said, you know, having had so many kids at home during my time as Speaker, it really helped me in presiding over those rowdy MPs in the House of Commons. De plus, Andrew connaît toutes les régions de notre pays. Lorsqu'il a participé à la mission populaire qui se tient tous les dimanches soirs, tout le monde en parle. Il démontre en français sa compréhension des préoccupations des Québécois et comment il s'entendra amicalement avec qui sera élu Premier ministre du Québec cet automne, de même manière à ce qu'il respecte tous les premiers ministres du Canada. And in addition to his love of family and country and the Conservative Party, Andrew loves sports, particularly Ryder Green. He loves football. He loves football, but I know this as well. He wants to see the Atlantic Schooners finally sail into the Canadian Football League. And you know, seriously, most importantly, Andrew has an unbroken, unwavering commitment to building a stronger, more prosperous, more productive Canada, where everyone can reach their full potential. Canadians are increasingly turning to the leadership of Andrew Scheer and our Conservative Party, and we all know why. Because with a Conservative leadership, you get integrity, you get respect for taxpayers' money, you get respect for the rule of law, you get respect for the true, ambitious strivers who are engines of the economy. Andrew est juste, honnête, raisonné, pragmatique et respectueux des taxpayers et obtenir des résultats. Add to that straight talk. Talk on the issues that matter, sensible talk about the economy, the environment, ethics, trade, justice, national defense, Most importantly, with Andrew, it's about results, not rhetoric. And why is this so important? I don't know about you, but I think Canadians cannot afford 4 more years of Justin Trudeau and his free-spending, righteous band of social engineers. Four more years of broken promises, tax hikes, mismanagement of a resource sector, the continued bungling of critical global trading relationships. But that should not be a surprise, because keep in mind, Justin believes government should be bigger, more intrusive. Andrew believes in smaller government. Justin believes that governments create jobs. Andrew believes government creates the environment for businesses and entrepreneurs to create jobs. Andrew believes that lower taxes are good. Justin believes they should be higher still. Andrew knows that the photo ops, self-aggrandizement, fancy socks, and flowing locks will not pay the bills for working Canadians. And you know, Andrew also knows something important, and this will serve him well in government. He knows that true international diplomacy takes more than 140 characters and shouldn't include emojis. I'm also sure that Prime Minister Andrew Scheer will not, I repeat, not holiday on private islands with billionaires at taxpayers' expense. What Canada clearly needs, what our country needs, is a Prime Minister who will step up and lead, not dress up and preach. They need a Prime Minister. They need a Prime Minister who's humble, who's relatable, who's always going to put the country first. Canada deserves a Prime Minister that will be respected and listened to on the world stage by leaders, and Andrew Scheer will be that Prime Minister. And you know, I'm a local guy. I recall that Andrew stood up for Atlantic Canada when one of the first acts of the Liberal government was to name an ACOA minister from Ontario. Great respect to my friends in Ontario. He was the Prime Minister who wanted to take away a Supreme Court position from this region. He was the Prime Minister and his government that killed the Energy East pipeline project. And you know what? Now they're threatening to take away work from the Irving shipyard. And thankfully, Andrew, Lisa, Aaron, and members of our caucus spoke up in defense of this region. 32 Liberal MPs, 4 Liberal provincial governments, and what did we get? The silence of the lambs. Or as they say up home, yous be quiet. Le Premier ministre Andrew Scheer dirigera un gouvernement qui rétablira la confiance dans le gouvernement en réduisant les impôts et en créant un environnement économique où les entrepreneurs pourront bâtir l'économie de l'avenir. Je veux tous nos enfants vivant dans un pays avec un véritable plan pour protéger l'environnement et pas simplement une taxe symbolique pour générer des revenus. Il est un bon chef avec la compétence et la bonne attitude pour nous aider à gagner en 2019. As inheritor of the Conservative Party that built this country, in the vein of Sir John A. Macdonald, Robert Borden, John Diefenbaker, Robert Stanfield, Brian Mulroney, and Stephen Harper, Andrew Scheer will carry on the proud tradition of nation builders who put our nation first in all decisions, serving the interests of all Canadians. If we work hard, if we are united, si nous tenons toujours debout pour qu'ici que Justin Trudeau will be a one-term Prime Minister, and in Canada, in 2019, Andrew Scheer will be the Prime Minister of our country. Roll the video.
jour, un autre scandale entre le ministre des Finances.
Sector and giving it to people who are trying to block a project in the national interest. That's shameful, and Conservatives will stop that practice. The Prime Minister promised during an election campaign that they would never have to go back to court, and then he looks a hero in the eye and tells them no. That's shameful, Mr. Speaker.
Working together can make sure that Justin Trudeau is a one-term Prime Minister. Thanks very much, everyone. Really appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, give an East Coast-style welcome to my friend and yours, our Conservative Party leader, and Canada's next Prime Minister, the Honourable Andrew Scheer.
Oh, thank you so much, Mayor. Merci beaucoup. Thank you to all of you. Merci beaucoup. Peter MacKay. Thank you so much, Peter. Peter, I know I speak for all conservatives when I say thank you. Thank you for your years of selfless service to our unified Conservative Party. And we all know that Peter is someone who set his personal interests aside for the good of our party, who decided to build up and not to tear down, and our party is a living testament to his hard work. And I want to say, Peter, a big congratulations to you and your wife, Nazanin, on the birth of their third child. Fantastic. Congratulations. Just 2 more to go. Why the look? I don't know. And I want to say thank you to the dozens of Conservative leaders from all over the country, all elected officials who are here with us this weekend. We certainly are one big, strong, united National Conservative Party. And in a little over a year, we will once again be a strong, stable, national, majority, conservative government. Mais par-dessus tout, merci à chacun d'entre vous d'être à Halifax ce week-end. Je sais que nombre d'entre vous avaient fait un long trajet et dépensé beaucoup d'argent pour être ici. I've even heard of some folks driving all the way from British Columbia to be here. Driving. Now, I have taken a lot of long drives in our minivan with our 5 kids. I cannot imagine what that must have been like to get from BC to Halifax, but thank you so much for being here. I want you all to know how much that means to me and our entire team. And I'm looking out at more than 3,000 committed Conservatives, nearly 70% of whom are attending their first ever political convention. Welcome. Et je n'ai jamais été plus honoré, plus fier ou plus content de diriger ce grand parti. J'attends ce week-end depuis longtemps, et vous aussi, je le sais. It's great to be among new friends, to forge new relationships, to connect with fellow Conservatives you might not have seen for a few years, and especially in the middle of a gorgeous Atlantic summer in a city as beautiful and historic as Halifax. And indeed, we have a lot to celebrate. We are out fundraising the governing Liberal Party by a margin of 2-1. Thank you to all of you who contribute. We're nominating impressive candidates in every part of this country, and we're standing up for Canadians every single day. And we're winning on the issues that matter to Canadians. And we're winning at the ballot box, ladies and gentlemen. Nous gagnons la lutte contre la taxe sur le carbone. Nous nous battons pour le libre-échange. Nous soutenons une immigration légale et ordonnée. Et nous défendons l'équilibre budgétaire. Et grâce à tout ça, nous remportons des élections à des endroits où personne ne nous donnait une chance. You know, in Chicoutimi-Le Fjord, we went from 16% of the vote just 3 years ago to 53% of the vote in the by-election in June. I know people from all over Canada might be looking at some safe Quebec seats to run in the next election for the Conservative Party. Thank you, Richard. Merci, Richard. But you know what? We didn't win by compromising. We didn't win by trying to impress people who will never like us, or by changing who we are or what we believe in. We won the best way there is to win, the only way there is to win, as far as I'm concerned. We earned it. We worked harder, our ideas were better, and we stayed true to our conservative principles. And what I'm saying is this: if we can win on our principles by staying true to ourselves in ridings like Chicoutimi-Lafiore, there is nowhere in this country that we can't win in 2019. Ce chemin a été ouvert le 18 juin dernier, dans Chicoutimi-Lafiore, une circonscription que nous avons perdue il y a 20 ans. C'est le travail acharné de toute notre équipe qui a contribué à cette victoire historique au Saguenay. Et je suis tellement fier d'avoir dans notre famille le nouveau député de Chicoutimi-Lafiore, Richard Martel. Et si nous restons unis, si nous continuons de travailler fort, si nous demeurons fidèles à nos principes, dans quelques mois, le chemin des victoires conservatrices va traverser tout le pays. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this weekend is about a lot of things. It's about celebrating how far we've come in the last year. It's about affirming our principles and articulating our vision. But most importantly, it's about all the people we fight for every single day. Like a father and son I met in PEI. They own a lobster boat. They took us out on a trip there with my family, and they taught us all about their way of life and how they earn a living. They're up during the season every day at 3 a.m., no matter what the weather, braving the ocean conditions to earn a living for their families. They told me it's hard, grueling work, and they absolutely love it. They wouldn't want to do anything else. Their number one input cost is fuel, and they are absolutely terrified about what a carbon tax will do to their lives. It's about the dozens of workers at a plastics plant I visited in Markham, Ontario, who've already had to cut their work week down to 5 shifts a week, from 5 shifts a week down to 4, because it was getting too expensive to have the plant run every day. And the owner told me that the plant in Markham does everything that could be done just south of the border. He could move it across the border at less cost and greater profit. Now, he doesn't want to do that. He loves Canada. He loves his workers. But with rising costs, he doesn't know how much longer he can hold out. You know, I was in New Brunswick a few weeks ago, visiting the Moncton Farmers Market. I was making my way through the booths, and I saw this woman who was selling soaps, all natural, organic soaps. And she extended her hand to me as I was walking by with a troubled look in her face. And she came up to me, and she put her hand out. I shook her hand, and she looked at me, and she said, "I'm so sorry. I'm so, so sorry." I was a little bit taken aback. I have had many conversations with Jill where I start off that way. So it's kind of odd to be on the receiving end. She kept apologizing. She kept looking at me saying, I'm so sorry. I'm so, so sorry. And I thought, what on earth could this woman have possibly done? So she looked at me straight in the eye, and she just said, "I am so sorry. I voted Liberal in the last election." We did share a couple laughs about that, but the more I've thought about that encounter since then, the more I realize that it's not all that funny. Cette femme, une propriétaire de petite entreprise qui travaille fort, faisait confiance à Justin Trudeau et au Parti libéral. Elle l'a cru quand elle a dit qu'il protégerait la classe moyenne. Elle a cru qu'il avait ses meilleurs intérêts à cœur, qu'il réduira les impôts de la classe moyenne et donnerait un répit aux petites entreprises. Now, Justin Trudeau has failed this woman by failing to deliver what he promised. And those failures have consequences. She told me she fears for the future, that it's getting harder to stay afloat, that she's worried about making ends meet with new taxes and rising costs. But here's the real problem. Justin Trudeau has no idea what she or any middle-class Canadian family is going through because of him. He has no concept about how to stretch a dollar, how to make it to the next payday, how to stick to a monthly budget. I'm not even sure he's seen a monthly budget. He just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand the problems faced, and he can't be trusted to fix them. But I can tell you, I do. I live in the great province of Saskatchewan. But in a lot of ways, my story begins on Cawthra Road, a 4-lane road linking the Lake Ontario waterfront in Mississauga to a web of major freeways in the GTA. Someone here from Cawthra Road? I heard a couple. Oh my gosh. 2. It's amazing. Well, you'll know that now, all up and down Cawthra Road, it's a very busy street. There's apartments, there's banks, schools, warehouses, lots of businesses lining both sides of the street. But 75 years ago, it was a dirt road where my grandparents, William and Eileen Enright, built a home. My grandfather was a factory worker at Massey Ferguson, while my grandfather stayed home in just a tiny 1-story house. My mother, Mary, she was born first, and 8 kids came after. And I can tell you, it wasn't an easy life. From a young age, my grandparents sacrificed, and my mom sacrificed with them. She actually helped raise her brothers and sisters while my grandfather worked long shifts at the factory, and while my grandmother grew vegetables in the backyard and patched together the hand-me-down clothes to be passed along to the next kid. Right after high school, my mom became a nurse. She actually got hired as one of the original nurses at the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. Before she moved to Ottawa, she saved up enough money to pay for a second-floor addition to her parents' house. And after that, it must have felt like a mansion. And that's what it was like in our own family growing up. My mom simply went from sacrificing for her siblings to sacrificing for children of her own. My parents, my mom and dad, we lived in a small townhouse in Ottawa. We didn't have a lot of money. My dad would always tell us that we'd have more money if the government didn't take so much on the front end, but we got by. They had to make sacrifices too. We didn't own a car, so we had to take the bus everywhere we went. And if you think it's easy to convince a girl to meet you at the bus stop in January in Ottawa, I can tell you it's not. You have to develop a pretty good pitch. But they did that, and they made lots of choices going without for themselves so that my sisters and I could have the things we wanted. Dance for them, sports for me, lots of the little things that all of us have had to do to make choices for our own kids. My mom was my hero. She passed away last year, just before I was elected leader. But I like to think she passed away knowing that she instilled in me a lasting obligation to make life even just a little bit better for the people around me and the people I serve. to raise my 3 daughters and 2 sons with the same strength and optimism that she showed me, to give of myself so the burdens of others might be lighter, just as she did her whole life. That is her legacy to our family. I want it to be my legacy to this country. This country has bestowed such fortune and opportunity on my family that I stand before you running to be the next Prime Minister, 1 generation removed from having 9 kids in a 2-bedroom bungalow along a dirt road. That right there is Canada, ladies and gentlemen, and it's worth fighting to protect. Mesdames et messieurs, comme l'histoire de notre parti le montre clairement, les conservateurs gagnent quand nous appliquons nos principes les plus forts et les plus fondamentaux aux problèmes modernes auxquels les Canadiens et les Canadiennes font face. Il ne se passe pas un jour sans que je me sente humblement privilégié de diriger ce parti et de suivre les traces des grands leaders conservateurs. And I am so proud to stand before you today, knowing that we are the party of Canada's first Prime Minister, the father of our Federation, and the visionary who made this land possible, the great Sir John A. Macdonald. And I think it is a disgrace that some would allow extreme voices in this country to erase our proud heritage. But it's not just our heritage as conservatives, it's our heritage as Canadians. Because if we allow this to continue, if we're suddenly going to sanitize our history, with the benefit of hindsight and knowing what we know today, then what if those extreme voices kept going? You know, the Liberal Party of Canada's elite donor program is called the Laurier Club. Now, Sir Wilfrid Laurier, Liberal Prime Minister, signed an order in council in 1911 banning black immigrants to Canada, but he was also the architect of the Canadian Navy and a pioneer of free trade with the United States. Do we hear voices from the left saying that we better take his name off of everything and rename universities? William Lyon Mackenzie King, another Liberal Prime Minister, the man who navigated Canada through the Great Depression and led the country during World War II, closed Canada's doors to Jewish refugees fleeing Nazi Germany. And his own government at the time said, none is too many. Will the Liberals work to take his face off the $50 bill? No. But you can see how divisive this approach is, how destructive this is to our Canadian identity. We can and we should celebrate the giants of our history, like Macdonald, Laurier, and King, for the great things they did for our country. We can absolutely look to the past and learn from the mistakes that were made at the time while still celebrating the contributions that made Canada so great along the way. But friends, if we look back on our history and our leaders and only see their blemishes, we miss out on a beautiful story of a great country that has progressed into the safest, freest, and most prosperous in the world. Je suis devenu chef de ce parti il y a seulement 15 mois environ. Ça a été une campagne difficile et vigoureuse, et un grand pas en avant pour notre parti. Nous avons choisi le deuxième chef seulement que ce parti avait eu en 13 ans. Quand j'ai gagné, nous étions à environ 10 points derrière les libéraux. Justin Trudeau était toujours le coquelicouche de l'élite internationale et des célébrités. Mais les choses ont changé depuis. You know, a year ago, when I was traveling around the country and people would stop me and say hello, they'd shake my hand, they'd say, hey, we're rooting for you, good luck. Now, when people see me, they grab me by the hand, both hands on my arm, they look at me and they say, Andrew, you've got to beat these guys. That sense of urgency is real. And why? Because the Liberal Party is finally showing its true colors. And I'm talking about the real Liberal Party. The tax-hiking, rule-breaking, perk-loving, deficit-spending, debt-mounting, virtue-signaling Liberals Canadians have come to know and despise. Justin Trudeau tries to say that Canada's back. I say the Liberals are back. Back to ignoring the rules and abusing the privileges of power. Just recently, we saw the government interfere in a process to award a clam fishing license to a fake company with deep ties to the Liberal Party. Todd Doherty knows it's the clam scam in Newfoundland. Bill Morneau, the finance minister, introduced a law regulating pension companies while still holding millions of shares in his former family firm that managed pensions. In 2016, we all remember, Justin Trudeau accepted a private helicopter ride to a luxury island vacation from someone who was registered to lobby his government. The Prime Minister broke the law, as the Ethics Commissioner so clearly confirmed. But hey, it was no big deal, because to Trudeau and the Liberals, the rules just don't apply to them. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how Liberals have always governed the country, not for the people, but for their friends. And if Justin Trudeau is engaged in this kind of corruption only 3 years into his term, just imagine what he would get up to if he had a second term. I shudder to think about it. Liberals are also back to raising taxes and squeezing the middle class. From coast to coast, I hear the same thing. People are getting by, but they aren't getting ahead. There's only a little left at the end of the month, and everything keeps getting more expensive. But Justin Trudeau doesn't get it. The federal government should not make life more expensive. As Prime Minister, I'm going to make sure the government takes less money off of every paycheck so you can get ahead, not just get by. Les Canadiens et les Canadiennes, partout au pays, me disent qu'ils se demandent vraiment si leur avenir sera meilleur. En fait, plus de la moitié des Canadiens sont tous les mois à 200 près de ne pas être capables de payer leurs factures. Depuis que les libéraux ont gagné en 2015, plus de 80% des Canadiens de la classe moyenne paient plus d'impôts pour une augmentation moyenne de plus de $800. Et les libéraux annulé tous les allègements fiscaux pour les étudiants et les activités des enfants. Tout ça rend la vie plus chère. Gas prices have reached record levels across the country. And what was Justin Trudeau's response? When he was asked about how this was affecting the day-to-day life of Canadians, Justin Trudeau actually celebrated it. He said, higher gas prices are, quote, exactly what we want. Ladies and gentlemen, this kind of out-of-touch, elitist thinking is typical of liberal arrogance. Millionaire liberals like Justin Trudeau may want to pay higher gas prices, but the hard-working Canadians that we're fighting for sure don't. And yes, the Liberals are back to embarrassing Canada on the world stage and damaging relationships with important allies. Under Justin Trudeau, Canada's international trading prospects have never looked more grim. And that is a huge problem when 1 in 5 Canadian jobs rely on free trade. Now, it's true. The President of the United States is anti-free trade. And Donald Trump has been crystal clear all along that he's out to cause us pain and to steal our jobs. But standing up to Donald Trump starts by making sure that Canada is strong. We need to stop pumping cheap fuel into the American economy. We need to get our resources to new markets. We need to compete with other countries on taxation and regulation instead of rolling over. From Japan to India to Australia, Justin Trudeau has embarrassed Canada and has failed to open new markets. And those failures have consequences for Canadians. And Conservatives are going to work very hard to repair that damage. Earlier this year, I went to the United Kingdom, where I met with Prime Minister Theresa May, laying the groundwork for future negotiations for when we form government in 2019. And in October, I'm headed to India to do the same. But don't worry, I don't dance and I'm not bringing a celebrity chef along with me. The point is, international trade and foreign affairs is a serious endeavor requiring serious leadership. It's time for the grown-ups to be in charge again. Les libéraux ont toujours été le parti des fédéralistes, paternalistes et centralisateurs. De notre côté, nous avons toujours travaillé à l'autonomie des provinces et nous voulons collaborer. Pas de temps à perdre avec les chicanes. Et nous allons respecter le désir des Québécois et des Québécoises de se libérer du fardeau de double rapport d'impôts. Justin Trudeau n'écoute pas ceux et celles qui en ont assez, chaque année, de devoir remplir 2 rapports d'impôts. Il n'écoute pas et ne comprend pas le quotidien du monde ordinaire. Vous savez pourquoi, mes amis? Parce que Justin Trudeau vit dans son monde de câlineurs, de licornes et des petits lapins. Eh bien, nous vous avons entendu. Nous allons agir. Le retour à la raison est proche. Quand je serai Premier ministre, les contribuables québécois ne rempliront qu'un seul rapport d'impôt comme l'ensemble des Canadiens. Sérieusement, je prends cet engagement populaire dès maintenant, car je veux faciliter la vie des Québécois. The Liberals are also back to bankrupting this country. Remember when Justin Trudeau talked about his temporary, tiny deficits? Well, turns out, not so tiny and definitely not so temporary. This government has racked up $73 billion in new debt. But what do we have to show for it? What do you have? Your wages haven't gone up, but I know your taxes have. This failure has real consequences. Canadians don't have more money left over at the end of the month, and they have less money to spend as they see fit. And why are Conservatives so passionate about this issue? Because every year that we're in a deficit, we're borrowing money from my kids and from yours. Deficits today mean higher taxes tomorrow. It really is that simple. And not one of us, not a single one of us in this room would leave a credit card bill to those who come after us. What Justin Trudeau is doing is robbing from our children, and it's just wrong. Under my leadership, the deficits will come to an end. We will balance the budget once again and put Canada's fiscal house back in order. Ils ont des plans environnementaux qui peuvent sembler être bons, mais qui ne font rien pour réduire les émissions et qui punissent notre industrie. En matière d'environnement, les conservateurs vont maintenir de faibles émissions et continuer à améliorer notre performance environnementale. Mais nous n'allons pas détruire le moteur économique de notre pays. The best way to reduce global emissions is not to shut down Canadian industry, it's to grow it. You know, here's just one example. Canada leads the world in tough environmental standards. We do so much so well at the best levels of responsible development. Here's a great example. In China, manufacturing a ton of aluminum produces 17 tons of CO2. In Canada, it produces just 2. That means we would actually grow our economy and reduce global emissions if more of that aluminum was made right here in Canada. Not punishing people for heating their homes or driving their cars, but luring investment away from countries with lower environmental standards and bringing it home to Canada. Now, speaking of pointless gestures that will cost Canadians a lot of money and do nothing for the world's climate, let me talk about the carbon tax. There is no idea in Canada that has had a worse year than the carbon tax. And I remember not so long ago when pundits and experts were writing obituaries for Conservative parties for not supporting a carbon tax. Now, they're writing obituaries for parties that do support the carbon tax. Kathleen Wynne and the Liberals in Ontario, gone. Thank you, Ford Nation. Jason Kenney and the United Conservative Party are about to take care of the NDP in Alberta. Even Liberals are running away from it. In PEI, the Liberal government will submit a plan this fall that won't include a carbon tax. And, you know, I remember I was watching the Ontario election, and I got to tell you, one of the most frustrating days was when a poll came out that said that the people in Ontario opposed the carbon tax at a rate of 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 people in Ontario were opposed to the carbon tax. And I saw an article with one of these experts who was writing a very intellectual article in one of the major newspapers. And the gist of the article was along the lines of, and I think one of the actual quotes was, the people of Ontario don't support the carbon tax because they just don't understand it. Now, I've traveled all over this country. There is a carbon tax revolt brewing. And I can tell you, the reason more and more Canadians don't support the carbon tax is precisely because we do understand it. And even Justin Trudeau is starting to cave, but he can't even get walking away from his own policy right. Instead of just getting rid of the carbon tax altogether, he's decided to give big businesses and big polluters a huge break. This summer, he very quietly exempted 90% of their emissions from his tax. Now, that means the single mother will still pay the tax on 100% of the gas she buys to drive to work, the groceries she buys to feed her kids. But industrial polluters and big businesses with their powerful lobbyists will enjoy a massive loophole. Now, Conservatives know the carbon tax just isn't bad for big business, it's bad for absolutely everyone. And that's why, come 2019, my first act as Prime Minister will be to get rid of the carbon tax once and for all. More and more Canadians are seeing through all of these Liberal deceptions. You know, Liberals always like to try and wrap themselves up in good intentions, but their policies invariably hurt the very people they claim they want to help. They try and convince people that they're motivated by compassion, but we all know that there is nothing compassionate about their policies. There is nothing compassionate about a deficit. There's nothing fair about leaving the next generation of Canadians a mountain of new debt, with more and more of their tax dollars going to pay bankers and creditors. Il n'y a rien de compatissant à taxer la prospérité ou à chasser les investissements, ou à fermer des usines et mettre des travailleurs à pied. Il n'y a rien de compatissant à menacer des millions d'emplois avec une attaque sans précédent contre les petites entreprises, ou à étouffer les familles qui tentent de joindre les deux bouts avec plus d'impôts. And there is absolutely nothing compassionate about allowing thousands to cross the border illegally from a safe place like upstate New York, jumping ahead of those in refugee camps, fleeing violence and tyranny, waiting for Canada's help. This failure, again, has real consequences for both taxpayers and those who are seeking to come to Canada the right way, those waiting to be reunited with a loved one, or those in dangerous places around the world waiting their turn, following the rules. Those are the consequences of the Liberal failure on this file. And I won't let liberals claim a monopoly on compassion, ladies and gentlemen, especially when it's conservative principles that actually help people who need it the most. Now, there's been a lot of talk about diversity in the last couple of weeks, and I am so proud to be the leader of a party that has so much to celebrate, so many firsts when it comes to diversity in this country. Justin Trudeau says that diversity is our strength, but I think he's missing the big picture. The reasons why waves and waves of immigrants from all over the world, all corners of the globe, have chosen Canada generation after generation. It's because we are free. Free to worship, and free to speak, and free to believe. It's because we are open to the persecuted and the oppressed. It's because we are equal as individuals, equal in opportunity, equal before the law, and equal in value. It is because of all these things that we are diverse. Diversity is a product of our strength. Our strength is and always has been our freedom. And I don't think I can put it any better than the last Prime Minister to come from Saskatchewan. As John Diefenbaker said, I am a Canadian, free to speak without fear, free to worship in my own way, free to stand for what I think right, free to oppose what I believe wrong, and free to choose those who shall govern my country. This heritage of freedom I pledge to uphold for myself and for all mankind. Those are principles that create unity, ladies and gentlemen, and there is unity in our diversity when we rally around those principles. Now, some will have you believe that our rights come from the identity groups the government puts us in. But conservatives know our rights come from the fact that we are individual Canadians. And in our politics today, the forces of political correctness are converging on contrary ideas and even on legitimate criticism, on deeply held personal convictions and complex matters of individual choice. Justin Trudeau wants this. He wants to impose his personal views on the country and demonize those who don't accept them. But conservatives won't let Trudeau avoid accountability for his decisions by smearing and name-calling those who dare to criticize him. Et nous savons déjà que le contexte politique au Québec sera très différent en 2019. Le Bloc et l'NPD foncent dans un mur. Merci beaucoup, Martine. Il n'y a qu'une seule alternative sérieuse à Justin Trudeau, et c'est nous. En effet, il reste sur le champ de bataille deux adversaires historiques, les conservateurs et les libéraux. Vous savez, deux partis, c'est assez. Un bon et une mauvaise. Et le contraste entre conservateurs et libéraux n'a jamais été aussi clair. Le choix se dessine déjà. Une partie à l'écoute, compétent, qui ressemble aux Québécois, le Parti conservateur, ou un parti qui accumule les échecs, qui démontre son et compétences et qui pousse les idées de Manon Massé, le Parti libéral. Mes amis, je suis très confiant en vue des prochaines élections. Je suis sur le terrain partout et à l'écoute des Québécois. Les gens viennent vers nous. Ils veulent discuter avec nous. Ils sont intéressés par nos idées. Ils constatent que derrière l'image, le bilan de Justin Trudeau se résume en 3 mots. Échec, échec et échec. Nous sommes à l'écoute de la population et la plateforme conservatrice sera la vôtre. En 2019, les idées, l'écoute et la compétence auront le dessus sur l'image, l'arrogance et les discours vides. Il nous reste encore plus au moins 1 an à endurer les chocs des libéraux avant que le ciel redevienne bleu. Et ne laissez jamais personne vous dire que les valeurs conservatrices ne sont pas des valeurs québécoises. Mes amis, les conservateurs du Québec peuvent se présenter dans n'importe quelle région la tête haute. Since the last federal election, our greatest results and achievements have actually been in the province of Quebec. And in 2019, with the same determination and pride, and with a renewed platform and a solid organization and great candidates, we will lead our team to the best results yet. Je m'engage personnellement à poursuivre les efforts pour continuer à connecter davantage avec les francophones partout au pays. Ma détermination est grande et je souhaite qu'on utilise toutes les tribunes pour passer notre message conservateur. Et c'est dans cet esprit que je n'ai pas hésité 1 seconde à aller sur le plateau de l'émission « Tout le monde en parle ». Et je suis toujours en vie. Mais j'ai besoin de vous. Notre caucus a besoin de vous. Ensemble, nous redonnerons au Canada ce qu'il mérite. Un gouvernement conservateur, solide et efficace, avec une équipe québécoise forte et déterminée. Ladies and gentlemen, Conservatives are united, we're strong, we're ready, and we're winning. Across provincial borders, Conservatives are coming together and winning. Look at what Jason Kenney has done in Alberta, what Doug Ford achieved in Ontario, what Scott Moe is continuing doing in Saskatchewan. They're winning, and we're winning too. Nous sommes unis dans nos principes et notre but, en défendant vigoureusement les attaques envers nos libertés économiques et individuelles et offrant une vision du Canada où tout le monde peut réussir. Conservatives know that people, all people, no matter where they live or what they do, are best served when governments stand down and allow individuals, families, and communities to determine their own destiny. And you watch how Canadians will respond if we allow that fundamental belief to continue to guide us. But I need all of you. I'm going to say right now, it's going to be a lot of hard work. The Liberals and all their friends are going to throw everything they've got at us. It's going to get harder and harder. But I want you all to take it with a smile. Because all that means is that we're winning. But as you're out there knocking on doors and talking to your neighbors, I want you to allow yourselves to dream a little bit. While you're out talking to Canadians about what we're going to do, about the failures of the Liberal government and the consequences they've had on making life harder for Canadians, I want you to dream about the country that we'll be building. And think about, what if we had a government that understood that a free people making free decisions was the best way to improve the quality of life and create prosperity for all Canadians? What if we had a government that believed that there was enough space in our public debate for values and viewpoints it didn't agree with? What if we had a government that didn't always just look back into our history looking for reasons to be ashamed, but instead for reasons to be proud? What if we had a government that knew that the best way to fight against protectionism is to make Canada the most attractive place in the world to invest and to create jobs? And what if we had a government that was led by a prime minister that actually understood the everyday problems Canadians face and governed with a clear plan to help them? This is what the Conservative Party will offer. Un pays où nous ne sommes pas seulement là pour payer des taxes pour grossir la taille du gouvernement, mais là pour être servis par un bon gouvernement. A country where people aren't just there to pay taxes to a big government, they're there to be served by a good government. A country where we work with First Nations as partners in our shared prosperity, instead of talking down to them with empty gestures and symbolism. A country where wealth isn't taxed and regulated and controlled, but created, unleashed, and multiplied, where hard work is rewarded, not punished, where the government realizes that the best way to ensure that more Canadians get ahead is by lifting people up, not tearing people down. Where we can build big, nation-building projects, the kinds of things that bring us closer together as a people and make it easier for one part of the country to benefit from the prosperity of another. And that is why a Conservative government will repeal the Liberal regulatory changes and get Energy East back to the table. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my positive Conservative vision. where taxes are low, government is limited, but opportunity is unlimited, where freedom is celebrated and people are put before government. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're going to build together. Thank you so much for all your support. Merci beaucoup.